Joining us now,
He does it enough. He should.
excuse me, in the media center is Carl Edwards. He drives the number 99 Fastenal Ford for Roush Fenway. He's a former winner here in the Sprint All-Star race. He's won already this season in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. So, Carl, what's your mindset coming in here to Sprint All-Star race this weekend, and then maybe take a peek next weekend at the 600?
Well, we come here to win the race. I mean, we've got really no pressure to do anything other than to win the race and have some fun. So this will be a good time. Seemed like the car was pretty decent. Brad was really fast. So the Fords are as a group are running pretty well. Greg was pretty good in qualifying trim. I don't know if you guys watched the practice getting onto pit road, but it's about the most exciting thing I've done in a race car in a long time. So just having fun, and hopefully we'll learn a little bit for next weekend. The 600 would be a great race to win. We've run third, I think, a couple of times in that race. So that would be if we can learn. If we can't win the All-Star race, the second best thing we can do is just learn something to help us win the 600.
All right, we'll take some questions for Carl. Jared, I believe you had your hand up right there in the middle. If we could get Jared the mic, and then we'll move over here to Lee Spencer.
Yeah, Jared Turner, FoxSports.com. Carl, you used to dominate the mile and a halves. You were the man to beat every time, pretty much. That's sort of changed. But has your confidence level changed at these kind of tracks based on the fact that you're not as dominant as you used to be?
Well, I mean, I don't think my personal confidence level has changed, but my level of confidence in my ability to win these races has definitely changed. I mean, you have to. It's nice to show up and know in practice you're the fastest car, and in qualifying, if you don't screw it up, you can get the pole, and then in the race be dominant the whole time. I think as a group, Roush Fenway Racing, we've all struggled. We've recognized it. We've talked about it a lot, and you saw a really big change this week with within our engineering structure that that hopefully is a step in the right direction. It's a big change, and anything could happen. It's hard to. I do want to say thank you to Chip and everything he's done for this company. All of those wins that I've had and the dominating time that you talk about was with Chip on board. So it's a big decision for Jack and for Roush Fenway Racing, but yeah, we all want to be better at these tracks.
Let's go over here to Lee.
Lee Spencer, Motorsport.com. Were you surprised about Chip, or was it, truly one of these deals where they had been working on trying to find a replacement for him over the last year or 6 months?
I don't know I don't know. I guess the way I'd answer that is say I wouldn't be surprised at anything right now, because we've got to shake things up. We've got to try different things. I hope it's the right thing. I mean, Chip has given so much to this company. I hope this is an opportunity for Roush Fenway Racing to get better. And so, yeah, I don't know. I guess we're willing to try just about anything. And I think that showed the magnitude of that change, I think, shows that how much, as a company, Robbie Reiser, Jack Roush, everyone is dedicated to doing whatever it takes to try to figure this out.
Let's go to Viv right there in the middle. Viv, and then back, is it Jeff back in the back? Okay.
Viv Bernstein, New York Times. Has Joey Logano elevated himself in the eyes of other drivers to that top level with the rest of you as a legitimate contender?
He definitely has elevated himself in my eyes. I mean, he's the, if you look at the hierarchy of the garage, and as drivers, we all look at which cars are running the best and which team is at what point, and who's learning things quicker. And Joey kind of threw that whole thing on its head by just going out and basically speeding up a half second everywhere he went. I mean, it's unbelievable how much faster he is now than he's ever been. And the only thing I can gather from everything I see is that he's just really stepped up his game and worked hard and become a better race car driver. I mean, it's pretty spectacular. So yeah, he's faster than me at most places we've been to lately. So I guess obviously, yeah, he's elevated in my eyes.
Let's go back in the back. Go ahead, Jeff.
Jeff Ross, ESPN. Carl, you seem like a pretty level-headed guy. We're talking about $1 million here. some of your fellow competitors may not be so level-headed. What do you think they're capable of doing for $1 million?
If I'm level-headed, I'd hate to see the real idiots in your life. No, I've been called a lot of things. Level-headed's not very often, but yeah, I've been. What was the question? Sorry, you threw me off with that. So, I think at the end of the day, we're all capable of a lot, and a lot of things that we didn't wish we were capable of. So, I have a feeling if you have a restart green-white checker for $1 million, I mean, it's going to be an expensive salvage yard down there in Turn 1. I mean, I've seen things lately. I mean, there were guys on the apron at Kansas at race speed sliding up in front of the field. And I mean, it was crazy on these restarts. So, people ask me what this race means and if there's a higher stress level. And I just go back to the race that we won, those last few laps, knowing that if I made a mistake, it was basically going to cost us $1 million. There's a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress, and a lot of desire out there. So yeah, it could get crazy with all of us level-headed guys. It could go out of control.
Let's come up here to the front. I think Jeff Gluck, you had a question. Raise your hand, please, and then we'll go over here to Steve Richards.
Jeff Gluck from USA Today. Jimmy Johnson hasn't won a race in like a whole 14 races.
I don't feel bad for him. Okay, I've felt bad for him before, and he turns it right around. And so, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, is he like a normal driver, a normal human driver now, or is he still Jimmy and he'll break out at any time?
I have a feeling they'll be just fine, and they'll probably turn this around and be very good. They have a way, no matter what, of being good at when it matters. So I don't. I'm not going to worry for them.
Over here to the left, Steve Richards.
Steve Richards at PRN. Question about the 600. With your fitness level, how do you feel coming out of a 600-mile race compared to a 400 and 500-mile race? Are you still, I don't know if the refreshed is the word, but how do you feel?
The refresh does not come to mind after that race. That is a long one, and I think you can tell by you guys after the race. There'll be more guys sitting on pit wall doing interviews than standing up. Probably it's a tough event. If it's hot out, it's going to be really tough. And then if your car is bad, or if you come into it with any like a cold or any you're not prepared physically, it can be a really tough race. I'd have to say this is the one that you don't want to have the flu on race day or something. It is a tough race. And now with the speeds of the cars and the G-forces and everything, you're really on edge a lot more, I think, during the race. So it's a long one, and it's one of the few races that you really see a little bit of the fitness payoff just at a regular race pace. So I really enjoy it, and I'll be as refreshed as I can be, but it's a tough race.
Anything different this week in your preparation?
Nothing really different, I think, other than maybe a few more fluids, and you might save a little bit of energy first part of the race, not let myself get too flustered early on, because I have seen this race go. I mean, it goes so long and so many things can happen. We started out and been running 25th or 30th and ended up in the top 3, and it's a mental challenge as well. It's pretty exhausting physically and mentally.
Got time for maybe one more. Any other questions? Lee, and then Claire. We'll end with Claire.
Lee Spencer, Motorsport.com. What do you think about the new R&D center that Ford is building? Of course, Toyota has a big one up in Salisbury with its own simulator. I mean, state-of-the-art stuff. Do you think that this is a move in the right direction for Ford?
Absolutely. I got the chance to spend a lot of time with the Ford folks this week. We did rides here, which they're pretty brave for getting in the passenger seat of the cars with us, but we had a really good time. I did not get the chance to go over to the R&D center, but I'm familiar with how much work has been going into that. And I know Ford is dedicated for the next 100 years in being involved in motorsports in America. The way they explained it to us, they said it's not something they do for marketing. It's not something they do for any reason other than it's in their DNA. It's the foundation of Ford. So I'm really excited about it, and I appreciate their investment in making our cars faster.
Final question on the left. Claire B.
Claire B. Lang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. You were saying earlier about Chip Boland that you're hoping it was the right move and shaking things up. Perfectly understandable because you never really know when you make changes like that. A week ago you said you were hopeful. How far off do you think it is, or how much? I mean, do you have any sense for where it's at right now? And is it just so competitive that it's just a little bit or more?
Well, I'll use the term that Chip talks about. He says we got to stack pennies. I mean, it's not like you're going to go out there and find something that's just this huge windfall change. So it's small things. It's maybe it's as simple as chemistry between people, and maybe that would create an environment that's more fertile for new ideas and innovation and progress. So I mean, it's small. They are right now in this sport. It's very small things. One small amount of grip in the corner at these speeds. You just it makes a lot of time on the stopwatch. So yes, I hope we're doing the right things, and I look forward to it.